Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realtor Reputation. I'm April Lopez.
And I'm Shannon Howard Bisorti.
And as much as I would love to leave those, you can't see my eyes.
What are you doing? Like, they're like so like
gonna wear them on my head.
UV protection with reflection.
They're so great. So we have another special episode for you today. We are in episode 14, but we felt like we should just kick off the summer.
Yes.
It's a little bit, I know we're in spring still technically, but that's okay. We wanted to highlight a special event that we have coming towards you, to you, June 20th.
June 20th.
We decided that what better way to kick off the summer on the first day of summer than a pool party.
That's right. A pool party at the one and only
Flamingo
Hotel in Santa Rosa. So we would like you to come flamingle with us. So such like a dad joke.
I totally love it. That will be our hashtag.
It'll be let's flamingle.
Flamingle with us. So what we are going to do, and we're going to give more details and that sort of thing. We're just kind of starting.
Our hosts, but yes, this is just a kickoff.
Yes. So Cabana at the Flamingo, we thought it's just going to be a good way to celebrate moms. I mean, dads, I guess, can be invited, but
yeah, moms, dads,
whoever,
listeners, friends,
supporters. We're going to do like a little giveaway. So you can come have a Cabana day with us. So stay tuned for that. We're going to give tons of details and that sort of thing leading up. So
save the date.
Yes, please save the date. Okay. So let's continue on this episode. It is episode 14, and let's just start it off with our mom moment of the week. What do you have going on?
I mean, what don't I have going on?
Right.
The 100 Days in May is, definitely in full effect. I'm working on, my volunteer job, which was supposed to be, somehow just like helping with our 8th grade graduation dinner.
Or are you like in full blown?
Well, now I'm like fully like a chair of it because, I can't just sit back. So I have to somehow I just have to be in charge.
And I feel like sometimes for those events that you like for me, I'm just like, let me just do it. I don't even need help.
So there's kind of like the Fab 4, Fab 5 of us that are kind of, just sort of getting it done.
Yeah.
And we all have our strengths, and it's been really fun getting to know these ladies. And most of them are boy moms, so I've only ever known kind of the girl moms. So it's a whole new adventure in there. I like them a lot. It's been really fun. So I'm doing that. And in the middle of it, I've got, clients from out of town showing tons of property. And then I have my sweet client who is getting her house ready to sell. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like when you give a mouse a cookie, like things keep happening. So I brought in the handyman to do like a couple things like caulk the bathtub and put a new countertop on. So we've now completely redone the bathroom because it was all rotted. So like the subfloor. So we had
nice though.
Yeah, it'll help with the selling, but it was not in the plan or the budget.
Gotcha.
And then we were going to put this butcher block counter on her kitchen. Well, when the contractor took it off, the sink had been leaking, so the whole cabinet's like disintegrated.
Yeah.
So we have to, and because it was put in 15 years ago, we can't like get the cabinet. So it's like, new cabinet. So we decided, we're on a budget. So we were gonna, because it's a small galley kitchen, we are gonna do like the open shelf concept.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do like some butcher block,
Yeah.
So that meant we had to remove the upper cabinets, right? So no big deal, right? Well, they take off the upper cabinets yesterday, and all the wall like peels off because whoever painted it's like coming off in like sheets. Oh. So that happened. And then behind one of the cabinets was like a hole that had electrical in it. Because I guess there was it's an electric oven, but I guess there was a vent that was there sometime. And I'm like, well, you're going to need to like probably put that in because it's going to come up in the inspection. Even with electric oven, you're going to need some kind of a vent.
Yeah.
So, long story short, okay, more money, put the vent in. She goes, I have an electrician that, is my friend's husband, I'll bring him over.
Uh-huh.
And I work with like Moss Electric here in town. I love them and their family. Shout out to Lori and all of them. They do great work. I'm like, I could bring them in. No. I have my own guy. So I'm showing properties. Yes, I got a guy. Showing my properties. And my phone is just like beep, 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 beep. Shannon, my electric My electrician, I think, just got electrocuted. He went. What should I do?
Call 911. Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
what? Like, well, is he okay? Like, is he breathing? She's like, yeah. He said it happens all the time. I can't make this up. And I'm like, wait,
does he do this for, like, he's
allegedly an electrician. I don't know. Maybe you get 9 lives?
Oh my goodness.
I was like, maybe you should have somebody else come out.
Frightening.
So somebody else is coming today.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm happy the house didn't burn down.
We just try to take our advice when we have trusted contractors who do
Take
stuff.
my advice and also just turn off the power.
Yes,
Very simple.
yes,
but if you're touching wires, and even if you think they're not live, turn off the power.
Oh my God, that's so
Lesson
funny.
of the day.
I love it. I love it.
So that was my mom moment. It was very funny.
It's, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in that same hustle and bustle every day. I've got buyers, I've got sellers, I've got just work-wise. We've got stuff going on. But Callan, I thought it was funny. So my son's a freshman. We've talked about him before, but this program he was in middle school.
Oh, yes.
A lot of the teachers are retiring.
Oh.
And it's this program where my sisters were in it when they were younger.
That's so fun. Like
everybody,
like all be part of something that's kind of a tradition.
It's great. Yeah. And my sisters actually loved the fact, like my niece is now in the program, that like our kids are being raised in the same, outdoor education thing. So anyway, there's this retirement party. They do a camping thing.
Oh my gosh.
Over the weekend out at the coast or whatever. So Callan has been trying, he's like wants to go with a group of his friend group or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. It's his birthday. So I was like trying to coordinate, figure out. I'm like a last minute coordinator. So he's like, I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to go to Top Golf. And I was like, I'm not driving to Sacramento on a Sunday morning, but.
Is that the closest one?
Yeah. Oh my God. So I was like, go to the race car place in Lona Park or whatever. Yeah. So we're going to do that. But anyway, so I was like, so what's the plan for the camping trip? How are you getting there? And he's like, well, so-and-so's mom's going to take me. Okay. How are you getting home? I think I'm going to get a ride home with so-and-so's mom. And I'm like, okay, do you have to bring a tent? Do you have to bring a sleeping bag? Food. So then he tells me, this is my kid. He's a 15-year-old, almost 15-year-old boy. He's all, I'm just going to wing it. And I was like,
No, wait, back up. This is the kid who's in lockdown for a half hour and needs Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's exactly the same kid.
Okay.
And is he
gonna like cook on like the REI, like, like the dry, like astronaut food? Like,
and my kid is definitely like the class clown. Like he's just a hilarious boy.
You're gonna wing.
And I was like, yeah, but you're gonna be sleeping like at the coast. And he's like, I'll live off the land. I'll sleep on a chair. And I was like, so you're bringing a chair? And he's like, he's just gonna sleep outside. And I'm like, yeah, none of this is happening. Yeah. So I have now taken over and taken charge of the planning.
So you're the CEO of the camp.
I'm the CEO. Yeah. And at least I'm in a group text message with all of the moms, but I'm just like, and with the mom says in the group text, don't worry, we really do have a campsite, because that's another thing that comes into
That's
play.
what I was going to wonder, because I was like, you can't just like go sleep on the beach.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, what's happening? And anyway, he was just going to
are you like letting them like start a fire? Because that's also scary.
Well, and I'm like,
are any of them Boy Scouts?
What about food? What about water?
Wait, hold on. You mean DoorDash won't deliver to the campsite?
But it's just such my kid. Like that's his personality. He's like, I'm just gonna.
But that's like the reality that we live in. It's like, hold on, like let me see who's gonna like do this for me or bring me my DoorDash. Or Mom, I forgot a pillow out at the coast. Can you just like drive it out?
He would totally pull that. And my sister's going to it, so he would be like, can Aunt Ashley bring me this or bring me that? I'm just like,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
But that's my mom.
Can somebody like videotape this? Because we might need to. It's almost going to be like a game of Survivor. Can we see?
I actually, that's a good idea. I'm going to be like, I need pictures. I need all kinds of different stuff. And the girls have like, they've got a friend group and there's like half girls, half boys.
Yeah.
And the girls are super responsible. They'll pull it all together. But I'm just like.
Yeah, but the girls won't have like enough like warm clothes because they'll be like, I'm gonna wear my crop top and my freezing pants and it's gonna be like freezing cold in the coast when it drops to like 32 degrees at night.
That's why I was like, you're gonna wing it underneath the stars. It's gonna be freezing cold. I'm sorry, I don't want you to have hypothermia on your birthday, but it's just
Are you supposed to bring a cake?
No.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, no. Oh, my God, I have to get a cake for his birthday. I am so last minute.
My good lady.
It's Thursday, and I have not even done anything. I should actually even invite his birthday is Cinco de Mayo.
Oh.
So-
Or do a taco party?
We do every year.
That's so fun.
I was okay, sorry, off topic, but I was the only mom who I think walked in the hospital on Cinco de Mayo, like holding my stomach, like, please don't have this baby this day.
Oh.
Because I feel like I just set him up to be like this party kid for the rest of his life. And
He's all shot.
I mean, it's obvious he has that personality. I'm just going to wing it. He's going to also be that kid in college.
Cuervo.
Yeah, he's going to be that kid in college, be like, here we go. I'm like,
Gang stands.
I'm like, please, no, please. So anyway, that's my moment.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I can't wait to hear you. We need a follow-up and pictures.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go into our Swiftie sell of the week. And this time we're close to home again. It's been on the market for quite some time, 189 days to be precise. But this is Robin Williams' San Francisco home. This house is gorgeous if you haven't seen it before. It has views of the bridge, Emerald Headlands, and it's like that, what is that, Presidio side of San Francisco? It's listed for $25 million. It's a 6-bedroom, 5.5 bath, just under 11,000 square feet, sits on almost a half acre. It's 0.4 is what it is, but it's gorgeous. It's got this like wonderful, you'll see the pictures, this wonderful vibe. I don't know, it's just like this, I mean, it's homey, it's everything, but obviously $25 million, it's going to not sell immediately. I'm actually surprised.
I'm kind of surprised too.
Just because it was his house.
Well, and also like, with our company, we do handle a lot of those bigger sales.
Yes.
We kind of see them come through.
Yes.
And I would think this would be sort of a special house.
I would think so. I mean, but not everybody has $25 million. Maybe we should see if Taylor Swift wants to buy that.
Yeah, maybe she wants to move to the city. I mean,
Add to the real estate
I was kind
portfolio.
of thinking she would want to move to like the wine country.
I know. I was thinking the same.
I don't know, but I was hoping like we'll see her like
In Healdsburg?
Yeah,
Geyserville?
yeah, something like.
We can find something. Don't you worry.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Don't you worry, Tay Swift. We can find you something. So I think, okay, we're highlighting this home, but it just led me to the next kind of question that comes to my mind. Obviously, Robin Williams has passed. His wife has put this house up for sale. I just thought, let's dive into, I'm assuming they've got a trust, right?
Usually especially if you're of that magnitude, you have a living trust and you have an estate, from this is not his first wife. So, he has children. So They probably were, designated certain things. And, his wife was probably, very clearly laid out.
Absolutely.
She was going to inherit. And she was actually pretty well-to-do as well.
The wife?
Yes. Not to his caliber, but she, I think came into it, with some money as well. So they, you have to kind of divide and conquer. And there's a couple things like when somebody is married, like everybody should have a trust. Let's just start with that. Like you need to have a will or a trust.
Exactly.
A trust is preferred it just makes things really clean and easy. So your spouse, your heirs, your children, anybody can sell their house. A lot of people, believe it or not, in this day and age, do not have a will or a trust. And some people don't have children or a spouse. So they pass away like Uncle Jimmy or something. Uncle Jimmy passes away and the whole family like, oh, I know Uncle Jimmy best. No, I know him best. And who's going to get what? So what happens is if you don't have designated people, the state takes it. It goes at what's called a probate. And it has to go through a court system for like 6 months. It could be up to 2 years. And then they kind of, go through next to kin. And I'm not really even sure how they would say, like, if we're his nieces, like who's closer? How does that work? Like the sisters?
I think it just depends on
the generation.
Who the kin is,
because
right?
you could even, but what if there's 30 people?
Right.
How does that work? You know, so it gets very convoluted and.
Well, and in probate also, they make sure that all of any debt has been paid off.
Correct.
As far as what has been left.
Medical bills, credit cards, whatever. But, Uncle Jimmy might not have liked his sister Susie, and sister Susie's like, oh, we're best friends, and then she might inherit all of his property.
Absolutely.
So it's just very important. And you don't have to leave your property to a person. You can leave it to a charity.
Yep.
You can leave it to, an advocacy group. You can leave it to probably a political party. Yeah, you could leave it.
That's how I believe the Sonoma County. It's the Bouverie. I think it's Sonoma County Bouverie. That's how they inherited a lot of their property.
Yes.
Is
And
through a trust.
they do that, and there's also like legacy
Little
gifts,
fun facts.
little legacy gifts that you can,
Yeah.
And I have a funny story about that. My mom, because people do get really funny when people die. Everybody thinks they're like entitled to stuff. It's really sad. Like
Money can divide.
I think
which
it's
is
really sad that people think they should be entitled to anything. That's just my opinion, but people do.
Yeah.
But my mom, she always tells the story that she had this aunt, and she had a few aunts, and one was a nun. I think you've heard me talk about her. Another one was like a wealthy lady in San Francisco, and she owned a couple properties in a building. So she passed away, and everybody, was like going to Auntie Irene's thinking they're going to get, all this stuff. And I think she had left some jewelry to some of the nieces and such. All of her property went to the church.
Oh my gosh, really? And all of these
family
people
was like in an uproar.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sure.
So have you watched that show?
And I think it's great because it's like so funny to think that you should get something. And it's like she had her plan and it went there, and she designated probably because she knew it would be a bloodbath. But
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. My dad passed when I was young, in my early 20s, and I saw a divide happen on that. And then now I'm kind of like, when there's a passing, I'm like, I just try to stay out of it as much as possible. But I'm also I had to help handle a lot of that. So I'm very fair, but not everybody is that way.
Not everybody is that way.
But death can divide.
Death can divide. That's a great way to say it. Yeah. And I think, so if you can, get those things in order, even like your personal belongings, like my grandma put like stickers on the bottom with people's names, you know what I mean? Like her little like trinkets, but it's important to have that. And if not, then it has to go through this process, even if you're the child or the spouse.
Yep.
A lot of times when you buy a property and you take title, the way that you hold title, sometimes you always want to put your spouse on, first of all, because there's ways that you can hold title.
Or maybe not.
But if you do, there's right of survivorship or joint tenants in common. And then if you were to pass and we didn't have a will or a probate, or a will or a trust, it would go to that next of kin.
Versus going to probate. Yes.
So there is that way to do it.
Yes.
But
and this is something I talk about with my clients, especially in their first purchase of a home, and they're getting into the world of real estate. It's always good to explore setting up a trust.
And
how much? I mean, it's probably like $2,500.
Yeah, you could honestly go on to like LegalZoom and you can do it yourself. I recommend going to somebody because I think it is a little bit complex.
Yeah,
we have somebody too. But like, let's say you close escrow and you want to put it in your trust. Usually you just tell the title company, and then after it records, because of the other thing to note is a lot of times, like when you're buying a home and you have a loan, the lender is not going to loan to the trust. They're going to loan to you, April, and your husband, right? So you have to close it as your individuals, but then you can put the property and designate it into the trust.
Yes.
So the title company, if you tell them that, they'll usually do it for free or like $100 or like a very small minimal amount.
Yes.
It has to record first with the recorder's office, and then after it records, you could sign and then put it into your trust, and then it records again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the process.
Yeah.
But it's very common.
So my title is held in my
and
trust.
Then just the other thing is sometimes you'll see, like when we're showing properties, I think this is a great example. It'll say, probate sale or trust sale. And a lot of times when, even if the person is alive or the heirs are selling the property and it's a trust, it's usually handled by an attorney, and there's usually a limit. Like I believe I don't know if it's 7 days or 10 days. Sometimes it could be 14 days, but the attorney usually wants the home on the market, so it gets exposure for
a certain period of time.
Yeah, almost never ever will take a preemptive offer because they're afraid to be sued. Because what if the siblings don't get along? And
Absolutely.
I think like you favored your friend or you took the offer, so they have very strict rules. About this.
Yeah.
So I try to explain this to people, but some people don't want to listen. So I was
wait, you had something recently, right? Wait, I remember now.
My gosh. So I was fired, which was very much a mutual.
Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise to be fired.
I've only been fired twice in 21 years, but both times it was pretty mutual.
Yeah.
You talk about like you want to vibe with the people that you were.
Yes.
So I had this special person who knew everything. I mean, I don't know why he didn't have his real estate license, but he had to tell me about why,
those are
what
fun.
an investor he is and how rich he is and how he knows everything. But he's also getting a divorce from his wife, which now I can maybe see why. But anyways, he wanted this property that wasn't listed, and I, got in touch with the listing agent, built a rapport, got the timing, which was going to be a month from now, and said, okay, well, I'll check in 2 weeks.
Started investigating.
Do you have a price? No, I don't know the price. We're fixing, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
So the person decided, like, his friend lived next door, so he was like over there, like, peeking every day, like, what are they doing? And then he would call me and basically say, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. And, if they don't fix it right, I'm going to sue them and this and that. And just like, and I'm like,
just ready to
just, yeah. And I said, well, there's nothing we can do about how somebody repairs the property, right?
Right.
And the fixes they have to disclose the
Not
repairs.
to mention they still own this property.
Right.
Repairing it.
And so he wants to like offer some arbitrary number that we don't even know if that's like in the ballpark. And I said, and he wants me to write up this offer. And I said, I can't, they're not going to take an offer. Like it's a trust. Like this is how it works.
Right.
So the next day, basically I wasn't.
Not to mention you're communicating it. Agent and fully aware
he had already met this person. So he was very well aware of who this person was.
Gotcha.
And sometimes sometimes that's not a great idea, clients, to reach out to the listing agent, because if they think you're a pain in the ass, they might not want to work with you. Well, right? Because there's a way that
what's the saying? You put your own foot in your mouth or whatever. Like you can.
There's
protocols. There's load,
and nobody wants the crazy buyer when you're trying to sell a house, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Those are the people that come into the open houses and are like nitpicking, like everything from the way the door locks to every little thing about a house, and you're like, oh, this isn't going to go well.
Or the person who sits on, speaking of open houses, the person who sits on the couch for like the entirety of the open house, just talking about watching, talking about how they know everything about like everything.
Yeah,
those are fun.
Yeah. So anyways, long story short, I told him that, and he was arguing with me that, no, they're over there doing work. It's going to come on sooner. And I said, well, I'm happy to contact the listing agent. So the next day I didn't move fast enough because I have other clients that are going to buy today, not in a month from now. And so I got a text message saying that I was fired and that, he was going to go with a different realtor. And I said, great, good luck. That's all you have to say.
I love how you just, good luck.
Good luck.
Yes. I love it. Wait, when else have you been fired? What type of scenario was it?
It was a long time ago. It was a woman, but I got rehired.
Oh.
And she was mad at me because okay, how this works. So when you're going to buy a house, what do you do with the person? You set them up with like a parameter, right? Based on their price range.
Budget, what they're looking for, area, everything.
And if they say like, I don't want a 2-bedroom house, I want only a 3-bedroom house, you're going to set the parameters.
Yeah.
I sometimes will go a little bit higher just in price in case something gets reduced,
Absolutely.
So she got mad at me and said that I was a really good listing agent, but I wasn't good with buyers because I wasn't sending her all of the properties because she was going on Zillow, my nightmare. And she was finding all these other properties. And I was not sending her these listings. So I wasn't doing a good enough job to find her the properties.
Oh, I get it.
So some of these were contingent and pending. So I had to show her that like there's a status.
Yeah.
And then some of them were like $200,000 above her budget.
Interesting.
Some of them
so she's just
were not in areas that she wanted to be in.
You're out of here, Shannon.
So she just told me that she was going to find somebody else. So I just very nicely picked up the phone and I said, I'm really sorry. It sounds like, you're frustrated with me and I don't want that kind of frustration. And if that's what you'd like to do, I want you to be happy and find your home.
Yeah.
However, then I kind of went over these things and the reasons why. Yeah. Sometimes people just need the why.
Totally.
And then she rehired me and we found a house.
Oh my
but
I tell my clients, go online. You're going to use all of the apps on your phone.
And I always believe that, if somebody doesn't want to work with me, that's okay.
Totally.
I'm okay with that. And I want you to be, I really want people's best interests.
Yes. I almost was fired once. And it was just because it was more of an emotional thing for them and they were extremely attached. I was listing their house. they raised their babies in that house.
It's very emotional.
It's very emotional. And I didn't realize the extent of the commitment to the house. And then
So you were being insensitive?
I didn't think I was being
No. But you were just being like factual and going through the motions.
correct. But when it became a problem is when the neighbors across the street wanted to hire me to sell their house. And they were in direct competition with the neighbor dispute at that point. It came, and she was mad at me that I was going to list the neighbor's house as well as their house at the same time. And I'm it's fine.
Have it out.
We had to have that conversation. I am a very emotional person. And when somebody starts like, I don't handle like,
Like accusations.
yeah, and then people like crying. The second somebody cries, I cry.
Yes.
I'm a very, what is it? An
Empathy. You carry their like,
empath,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I take on emotion, and it came like this close. And then the husband was very like, it was an honest, it's there's no problem here. It's just it was just the emotional.
You had to get the
attachment to house.
therapy out.
I had to get the therapy session out. So it came very, 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 very close. But yeah, it was a hard one. But it was a learning experience. I take everything as a learning experience.
I take it all as a learning experience, and I don't think I'm perfect. So I really, I
feel like I am. I'm just kidding.
No, but I take the like criticism. I take it really hard, and I don't mean like hard. I mean in a sense where I'm really hard on myself.
Sure.
So I really like absorb it, and then I try to learn from it, and
Absolutely.
I try to, I'm very apologetic, and I can own it. Like I own when I mess up.
Absolutely.
I own when I made a mistake.
Absolutely. And this goes not even just in real estate, just in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I have very much learned from my mistakes that I've made, and sometimes I haven't, and it takes me maybe a second time. But on the other hand, too, like
In every
I
situation,
work really, really hard to make sure I learn from my mistakes. So then if something does happen, I totally am the same way. I own up to it because nobody wants
Yeah, I think it's like hard, sometimes there's like situations where, people are going through a divorce and they want one realtor and somebody else wants the other. And I don't know if you've ever had it where like the person who didn't want you is kind of not nice to you.
Yes.
But, you're still nice. And then usually like I like to try to win them over if I can. And by the end, it usually goes well.
Sure.
But it's hard when somebody doesn't like you, or you're working really hard for them, or they're upset with you because you want to fix it.
Absolutely.
You genuinely want to make it okay.
Well, and it's really, as personality wise, I accept it as it's nothing against me. It's just the situation.
Yes.
So it takes a lot to remove yourself sometimes from situations and understand that it's
Take the emotion out of it.
Upset isn't about me. What is really the bottom of
And
what's
it took
happening?
me like a good 10 years into my career to not be emotional.
Oh yeah.
I'm very like matter of fact now. And I learned that from like another job and another boss that I had. She was very like no emotion, like matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I used to leave and cry, because she was so like, but I learned that that's like really a good way. You really have to separate it because it's not always about me or you.
Sure.
And we don't always know like the situation like our clients are in, because sometimes we have people that share everything with us, and then we have people that kind of are embarrassed, or they're guarded, or they don't want us to know everything.
That's so funny that you say that. That's something that, not even regarding work or anything like that. Somebody had texted me, and my husband, he was on the phone, and I was responding to her. He was with me or whatever. I was responding, and he's like, oh, well, you should say this, this, and this. And I was like, I don't need to tell a story. Like, my answer is matter of fact. Yeah, this is what she asked. These are the details. Yeah. Right? And he's like, well, you should tell her this. It was our neighbor texting us about, she's a new neighbor, and she had a question. Oh, yeah. And I was like, I don't need to give the fluff of a story. She asked me a question,
and I'm giving her
this is my response. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I think with age, it's also coming that way. Where I'm just like,
sometimes like I have to back up though, because I have a lot going on, and I feel like we live in a world where everybody wants an immediate answer.
Oh yeah.
I sometimes don't remember like if I've responded because I'll be like, oh, like looking at this at a stop sign or looking at that.
Sure.
So like sometimes I'm really like bad at just giving like one word, like answers are really quick, matter of fact. And that could be taken as rude. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to respond to you in a timely manner so that I don't forget about you.
Very true.
Because, you know, if my text messages aren't like, I might go down and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like you texted me a week ago.
Although now.
And that's genuine. Like I skipped it.
Yeah.
Or I'll start writing it. I won't push send.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah. No, for sure. All right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap it up just because we can go on and on and on about.
But yeah, so hopefully you've learned a little bit about trusts today.
Yes.
And
probates.
And please, if you don't have one, go get yourself one. It's very important for your family and your children. And
we're going to give you some more information about our upcoming pool party.
Woo, woo.
Let's flamingo. We're going to flamingo soon.
So hopefully you can join us, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.